Okay. All right. So first off, I wanted to just kind of give you guys a little bit of a background. I mean, how many of you guys have seen a change in your business and how things functioned the last year, right? All of us have. All of a sudden it was like, okay, people aren't meeting in person. And how many of you guys had your classes slow down? Like you did less classes in the past year than you did the year before that? You guys can answer, you can tell me. I won't judge you. I've done less classes in the past year. So a couple of months ago in May, I went to an event at Emily Wright's house where I met Christina Badal. She spoke at maybe it was leadership, maybe it was the Blue Enterprise Retreat. I'm not quite sure. And she's one of the new founders. And I heard her speak about these classes that she was doing, and there was a ton of success, but I was really just overwhelmed with all of the information coming in, and I kind of thought like, okay, I need to look into that. And then this past weekend, she's presented again at Snowbird on the same thing that she talked about. And really, I feel like this is one of the missing pieces to people that kind of have been in limbo and we're really not sure what to do, and people aren't quite engaging in the classes that are online. And so I want to quickly go through that, but she has had massive success. I am going to I'm going to put a link in here that just kind of it's just a document that kind of outlines it, so you guys can follow along with that if you want. But I'm also just going to share my screen and pull up the just kind of the presentation that she did, that she shared. So you guys can see that on my screen, right? Okay, so I'm not going to give her whole presentation, but I did want to walk through some of the notes that she had. And basically it was the same kind of problem. People were saying, I don't know how to enroll people anymore. I want to have more interaction with people, instead of just feeling like I'm spamming them. I want the people that I'm inviting to classes to actually show up, things like that. And so basically her demographic is young immigrant moms. You guys probably have different demographics, but be clear on your demographics and kind of like what their pain points are, and to make sure that you're speaking to them in that manner. But she basically did this program, she called it the Wellness Week, and she did it in February. And basically it's 4 weeks that you're supporting your leaders to bring in new customers and sharers onto their team, which also helps them rank advance. So I'm going to break down really quickly what she did. So starting at silver rank, you want to get into teams of 5 leaders. So that will be your first action item once we get off the call. Or if you guys want to utilize the chat room right now, and you want to kind of connect with people that you want to put a group together, or be like thinking about that, we want 5 leaders. Okay. Now, some people might think, well, Melina, if you're doing it, why don't we just all get into the same group so we're not duplicating the efforts? I'm going to give you the document that has the all of the posts, but you're going to want to make this your own, because if you're putting 100 people in the same group and then they're all inviting 10 people, that's 1,000 people. So it's hard to manage and gets overwhelming for those prospects. So we really want about 5 team leaders. Now with this, you can invite people that are new sharers, new builders, maybe they're in elite rank, and have them invite people. That would be very much recommended, but we want to have a handful of people that know how to teach classes, know how to answer questions, and can kind of help with that. Now each team will open a WhatsApp or a Telegram group with the name The Wellness Week. So I know that some of you guys are thinking, well, I'm not on WhatsApp. I don't know if my contacts are on WhatsApp. And here's kind of my philosophy. I'm going to try everything the way that she did it. because from there I can go and adjust it. And I find so often in this business, people will come in off the gates and be like, oh, why are we doing this and this? And like, why are we should do it different. And they have all these ideas and they go off reinventing the wheel, and then they're not nearly as successful. So I've heard her present on this a couple times. I'm just going to do it as she has it outlined. And then from there, if I want to adjust things, I can. I am one of those people that also does not love having a million platforms. Like, I have a group that's on GroupMe, and I have just had to start Telegram a couple months, and I'm on Boxer, and then there's WhatsApp and text message. There's all of those things that it can be overwhelming. The thing that is a lot more smooth with like WhatsApp, or I'm not as familiar with Telegram because I'm new on there, then like if you're thinking of a text group, is on WhatsApp, you can turn off commenting once the week is over, so people don't feel like they're getting spammed the whole time. You can prevent people from asking questions. And I was just talking to Kyle a little bit earlier, and he said with WhatsApp, you can actually create a link to the group or a QR code. So you can email it to people or text it to people so they can just click on it, and it will take them right to the group. So it's not something that they have to like, oh, I need to go download this app and try to find this group. So that's the platforms that we're really recommending you use for it. And the goal for each leader is to bring a minimum of 5 prospects each week. But obviously, as many prospects as you can handle following up on, then you want to do that. Now, remember, this is going to be 4 weeks. So you would bring 5 the first week, and we're looking at starting this the first week of August. And just briefly, the reason why I think August is a really great month to do this, even though we're kind of having to hurry the rest of this month to kind of prepare for it, is we're coming off of BOGO month, right? And a lot of times with BOGO month, we see a little bit of a dip from people that bought or the customers that bought all of the BOGOs, and then they dip. And then we're, before conventions, so we don't quite have all of that momentum going. And so August can be a little bit more of a difficult month for engagement unless we have something like this as a structure to kind of keep people engaged and keep people enrolling. Also, coming off of BOGO month, hopefully we have a lot of people that have enrolled with the BOGO box, or we've been reaching out and kind of connecting with them because of the BOGOs anyhow. And so it kind of leads naturally into a good time to invite them to do this. So it's going to be 4 weeks of that. So I make sense in my own head. So if you guys have questions, we'll answer some questions at the end. So the prospects are going to be invited to participate in the Wellness Week. They're going to receive daily education on 7 different essential oils. I'm going to stick with the 7 that she did. They're mostly from like the Home Essentials or the Healthy Start Kit. So from Monday through Friday, there's going to be short videos in the group. And if you wanted to sample the people before, that would be great with some of these. And then the prospects attend an intro class on Saturday. There's going to be 2 different times to accommodate morning versus evening, and then a business class on Sunday. I'll probably do my business class on Saturday as well, because I don't generally work on Sunday. And so that's the kind of the flow of it is ideally, and what I'll be doing is sampling people beforehand if you can. If they're in another country, obviously it's a little bit more difficult, which is a lot of what Christina was doing with Colombia and other areas. And so I'll try to be getting them sampled the last week of July. And then in August, we have that first group that goes, and Monday through Friday, they're getting videos and posts about those 7 different oils. Saturday's the class, like the Intro to Oils class. And then I'll do later a Sunday business opportunity class. Now, Diamond Plus leaders, we're and like talk to your uplines and do this. I'm happy to help with different prizes, but we want to have prizes for the wellness advocates that rank advance. And you can kind of decide within your own groups what are your terms and conditions of those prizes, but we want to really get our wellness advocates involved, especially those like executives and managers, those people that love the oils, they don't mind getting them for free. I think so often we focus so much on just our business builder diehards that we forget kind of that it's really a majority of the people that are in our teams are the people that like the oils, and they wouldn't mind referring people or inviting people. And then, you know, we can have a different contest with different enrollments. I will do prizes for the team that has the most enrollments. And so I'm going to have a form that you guys can fill out within your, with who your groups are. And then I will give some prizes, and I'll list those on the form that I will provide. Okay. And then we've got, like, for the prospects, they can win prizes for attending the class on Saturday. But what has happened with this is, and I spoke to her about this a couple different times, is how many of you guys have invited a bunch of people to a class and then the class comes and they don't show up? That's because we haven't quite created the value for them to be willing to take their time to go and attend this class. And there is Zoom fatigue and everything else. So we do the classes on Zoom still. And so what you want to do is have them that 5 days that we're just stripping information, getting them really excited. And I think one of the secret sauces that she had, and I can share this in the Google file too, but these are the 7 oils that we're going to be doing. But I think the secret sauce is that she has people posting testimonials when they're talking about the oils. And I think testimonials is probably an underutilized resource for us, where it's giving credibility and people are starting to relate to the circumstances that people are talking about with those specific oils. So now each of those 5 leaders are going to make a video. There are some specifications because you do want it to be congruent. So we want to make sure you've got good lighting, everyone's filming vertical. And then each leader has to make a list of a minimum of 50 prospects. Some teams did 30, she said, because she didn't want them to have more people than they could follow up with. But if you make a list of 30 prospects, and you can kind of reach out to them, maybe you're inviting 5 to 10 to each of the weeks. You wouldn't invite all 50 of them to the first week. You're kind of spreading it out. So each week you're repeating the same class, but you have different prospects in there, and you're able to nurture them a little bit better. So I'm going to share all of this too, but there's flyers with different access links for each of the participating groups. And here's basically the steps. Let's scroll down to here. So there's 5 steps. So first is the diamond leader is going to kind of get on a call with with the people, and that's kind of what we're doing right now. But I want you guys to be arranging your groups specifically, and get really clear on the prizes that you guys want to do as you collaborate with your leaders. You're going to divide the groups. You're going to record the videos. Each of those 5 leaders is going to record their own video. And you guys, I know some people don't love making videos, but if you can take 5 minutes to record a video, your people want to see your face. They want to feel like they're connected to you, not watching a video that someone else made that they've never seen before. Does that make sense? So it is important that you do create a video, and it does give you a little bit more credibility in your group as well. And then you want to schedule the intro to oils class and the business classes, and then have the wellness advocates invite their prospects with different raffles and things like that. Create a sense of urgency, because we can't have 1,000 people in each class, so there is limited space for each of the classes. So you want people that confirm that they're going to be there to really be committed. So this is just kind of an outline, and like I said, I'll share this in the chat as well, the folder that she shared with us. But a couple of her tips are like posting 1 to 2 videos each day, but you want to keep them at the same time each day so people kind of know what to plan on. And then with WhatsApp, you can't open and close the chat, but you can open for questions at a specific time so that you can be on there with your leaders answering it, instead of people asking questions throughout the whole thing and kind of derailing it. each wellness advocate should be following up daily with their prospects in a private message, sending them like the summary PDF of the oils, which we have in the document and the folder. You want to be reminding them about the class, just making sure that you're staying engaged with them instead of just putting them in the group and then expecting it to be automated. This is not, I'm a big fan of automation. This is not an automated process. This is an interaction, engaging process. Now she does have some tips, and you know, I think the Latino community is definitely the funnest. I'm just going to say that right now. But she starts with music in her classes. You know, for her intro classes, this is one of her go-to tips. Let me just, I'll scroll all the way down to the end where she has her tips. So she starts with music. She makes sure to share the intention. She does that. I've got the PDF for her class. It's basically that same back to basics intro class structure, which we've been using for the past 10 years, or, you know, it's very simple. She just has a different, she's put her own little twist on it. And then testimonies. And she put, this is wellness advocates in disguise, right? These are those 5 people, or I actually have, and I'll see if we can share that. I have, my assistant has been collecting testimonials because like on our team page and different things like that. I had her just start a couple months ago to collect testimonials on a spreadsheet so that whenever I'm talking about a specific oil, I can go and pull that testimonial and send it to somebody. So we can look at sharing that, but you'll want to kind of collect these testimonials beforehand. And you can have people post those so that they make sense and they're effective. We obviously don't want to share a testimonial where someone's talking about how they're not sure if it worked or they got the oil in their eyes, or, you know, like these are, but we want to make sure to be sharing those. And then keep our enrollment kits very simple. Like these are basically the things that we've been doing in all of our classes with that raffle. So here's kind of the team leader responsibility. So you'll only want one team leader. I think one of my biggest struggles is when there's too many people leading that nobody really knows who's in charge, or nobody's leading and you've got a bunch of leaders, but no one's really sure. So we want one designated team leader, and this will be the person, like, feel free, that team leader, reach out to me if you have any questions. I'm happy to help with this. But you'll be in charge of updating your Google Sheet, so you're keeping track of all the prospects that are invited, the prospects that are enrolled per team underneath you, with those 5 people, right? And these, I'll share a Google Sheet with you guys so that I want these to be reported, because I really would like to keep accurate measurement of how this works for our team in August. I want to know how many teams are participating, how many people are being invited, how many people are attending the class, and how many enrollments we got from this, because that kind of helps us gauge maybe what areas aren't effective, or if there's a team that's totally killing it and then another team that maybe it didn't work out very well for. I want to look into that and see what is the specific little tweaks, or like what was the difference really, and this can help us make this a better conversion. So this is basically what happened when she ran this in February. She had 85 teams that were participating. So this is 85 teams of 5. And then she had 4,850 prospects that attended the Intro to Oils class out of those 85 teams, right? And then there was 1,900 team enrollments in the month of February from these classes. So I think that's amazing. And then even more amazing is this really, from doing these classes, was a ton of rank advancements. And the team that had the most enrollments was a team that enrolled 45. So, you know, if you, between 5 people have enrolled 45 that month, I think through this class, I think that really helps create a duplication model. And what's great about this is on week 1, you want to invite your strongest prospects, but they can invite people the following month. Let's see. So like I even have, there's, you know, some different, like this is the invitation that she created. but also the referral program. So anybody that has attended the class, this is an easy way that if they enroll the first week of August, they have no clue what to do. And I think this is where we lose a lot of people. I can't tell you how many people the last year, I think I said it before, I've had more people than ever that want to make money, who want to do the business, but less people than ever actually do. And so I think people come in and they're like, I like these oils, I want to buy them, this is great. And they want to make money, everybody likes money, but then it kind of ends there because they don't know what to do. We've made the process too complicated for them. So if they can attend a class and then just go and invite people, and we've got different like incentives that you want to do. If you want to do different incentives, do different incentives and don't use this. But if you want, you know, this will be your responsibility, obviously, to help your, and there's a typo on there. There's a, it says Copel. So Christina had this in Spanish and someone translated it to English. So there's a couple of places that I've seen it needs to be redone, but this gives you an outline of everything, and we'll work on getting it all updated so that you have everything. You don't have to recreate anything except for the videos that you'll want to be done by your team. And here's, you know, even like the PDFs that they get on each of the products. This is all done. So there's uses, there's recipes. It's really simple for you to share with people, which again, we all have these types of things, but this just makes it a little bit easier because you don't have to recreate it. There's her Nacho Solutions class, you know, the 3 cool things. So this is all done if you want to use this PDF, or most of you guys have your own. And then the business. So that will all be in there. And then she has the enrollment kit links by country. This is all in the folder that I'll share. And if you're planning on, I know there's a couple of you that are working in other markets. So I will share this link in the chat now. Were you guys not seeing what I was talking about? Sorry, I'm reading in the chat. Were you guys seeing my screen?
We could only see the PDF. I think when you switched to looking at the Google Drive folder, we couldn't see that.
Oh, awkward. Okay. Well, let's try again. But so like, can you guys see this with the enrollment kit links by country? Okay. So these are just some of the resources, like she's got her business class in here, her intro to oils class. Here's basically the PDF that your people, the wellness advocates, would follow up with each day, and kind of make sure that they have all this information. So you want to make it really easy. There's instructions on each oil of something super easy for them to use, not overly complicated. And here was the Wellness Week referral program that I mentioned, so that you can have those people that attend the first week invite people to the second week or the third week or the fourth week. So I think that what should ideally happen is the last week of August, you have larger and larger classes happening. So that's going to be the goal of that. Okay. So do we have any questions? I'm going to share this folder in the chat, but we can open up for questions. And then I know Kyle was going to share a couple of things to also help those of you, because I know some of your questions are going to be like, this sounds great, but I don't even know any more prospects to talk about. Now, first of all, I don't feel bad for you because I don't actually think that's true. I think anybody that has been living in this world probably has, like, I have drawers of like contacts from years ago that I never followed up on, or people that attended classes that never actually enrolled. And specifically coming off of BOGO, most of us have been going to those lists of people and connecting with them over BOGO. But I think anyone at any point can sit down and recreate a list of at least 10. When you're looking at like people you went to school with, just go on Facebook. You'll find a lot of friends that you haven't talked to doTERRA about, and start connecting with them and nurturing that relationship before you go into inviting them or even asking for referrals. But Kyle's going to talk to you a little bit more about that because he's awesome at it.
Myself? Okay. Very cool. Well, I'm super excited for this. You know, what while Melina was talking, what I did was I created a WhatsApp group for our leaders on our team, and I added all of our leaders that are going to be potentially participating in planning this wellness week. And so we added them all in there so that we can start chatting. So I think it's just so good. You know, I know some of us, when we hear an idea like this from, our leaders, we get it, but we're like, oh, my brain just doesn't work like that. I can't organize all of these things. And so I think, reiterating kind of what Melina has talked about is important. So I think, just reiterating to everyone, start, find 3 or 4 leaders on your team, or even cross line. You could go cross line to a whole other team that's not even part of your team, and you could collaborate with them. Sometimes that's even better. Find 3 or 4 leaders, right, that are going to be willing to teach or co-teach those Zoom classes each week, right? Get access to the Google Drive folder. It has all the graphics. It has all the invitations. Everything you could possibly imagine is already done in there, okay? So start your WhatsApp group, right? And make sure that you can start inviting people to that. And for me, when I think about that invitation, regardless of who you're connecting with, whether it's somebody that's brand new that you just became a friend with on Facebook, whether it's an old customer, whether it's somebody who's been on loyalty rewards, and we know that they would invite, their great person to ask for references from, it would be something like, hey, you know what? We know that a lot of people are dealing with a lot of things right now, from mental health to immune health to just stress. And so our community is putting on this really fun wellness week. And we're going to be diving into the top natural solutions that you can use to, have less stress, feel happier, have less pain. And I can really only invite 5 people. And I thought of you. I think you would really, really benefit from this. If I were to invite you to this week, would you attend? Right? And I would use the exclusivity of 5 or 10 or whatever you want that number to be. It's about quality, not quantity. And and so anyway, that I just want you to kind of think through that process. And so it's super exciting and it's awesome and it's effective. And WhatsApp is a great tool. I think that, I mean, as far as I'm going to share with you guys a couple, and a lot of people who are on here from our team have already been using this, but I'm going to share it with you guys in the chat here. Let me find it real quick, so you guys can kind of follow along with what I'm going to talk about. Okay, so here we go, real quick. Okay, so the magic to really having success when you're connecting with people online is in your daily habits, right? And my team, hopefully they don't start yawning at this point, but it's your daily habits. So one of the things that we've been doing over the last 30 days is what we call 5-10-2. And it's to be totally honest, it's difficult and it's a challenge. But what that means is adding 5 new friends or following 5 new people, having 10 conversations or commenting 10 times, and making 2 invitations, right? Inviting people to be a part of the wellness week, right? So now your invitation is kind of done here. And it is impossible to not have an endless amount of people to talk to if you're not doing this 5-10-2. Now in the chat, I just shared with you guys a page that teaches you what the 5-10-2 is, teaches you how to do it. It teaches you, where to find people. Now the second link that I'm going to share with you is a link for a few strategies that you can use to never run out of people to talk to. And they're creative strategies that you can use. They're all done on social media, but let me bring it up here, but they're super, super effective. And in fact, I know we have a few members of our team that are on here with us. Here's the next one. And you can learn, what those are. But I'm curious. I just like to kind of, I'm going to call on some people here because I can see some of our friends here on this call. I see. Okay, let's see. Or and if you want to comment or kind of share your perspective, I'm actually going to call on Kirsten Iyer if you're there. and in maybe kind of share real quickly, you know, your version of how 5-10-2 has been going over the last 30 days, even if it's, you know, been far from perfect, and how you've kind of leveraged that to connect with new people, invite new people, you know, and maybe how those that are listening that have never done it before, you know, kind of your insight into making that work.
Good morning, guys. I actually started a different version of this last summer when I was doing one of the Olympic Games to hit my next rank. And in there, it talked about the daily habits of successful people in the business that we are in. And it had to deal with also contacting so many people every day and following up with so many people every day. And so I kind of had the little bit of the habit there already. And then we kind of upped the numbers and added another item so that we have our 10-5-2. But before we started 10-5-2, from my previous smaller habit was just 2 and 2, contact 2, follow up with 2. I can tell you there were months where I was spinning my wheels and I was inviting people to classes and I wouldn't get anybody in there. And then out of the blue, I would get a response from somebody who had been to a class 3 months before, or I chatted with previously quite a while ago. They'd be like, okay, now I'm ready. And so what it is it's giving you this constant flow of people that you're slowly adding to that always have you in the back of their mind. And there was one month, I think it was February, that I had like 3 classes planned. Not a single person showed up to the first one, but I ended up having 5 or 6 enrollments that month. From 4 or 5 of them were from people that were from previous before. And so this month, in upping it, it takes a little bit more time. The more you do it and are consistent with it, the easier it gets, which is with most habits in life, right? Figuring out where to find new people to add to your group and kind of opening into new bubbles. And the conversations get easier. It feels more natural when you're doing it more consistently, right? The first time you begin to reach out to someone that you haven't seen from high school, it's awkward. You don't know where to start with it. You feel like you're, you know, putting your foot in this mouth or feeling so salesy. But after you do it for a while, it's natural for you, which makes you feel more natural, I think, to everybody that you talk to. And so that basically, in a nutshell, is what we do, right? We contact people and we share with them this awesome opportunity that we have. And so it's created conversations that are easier to be in, that help me feel more natural in, which in turn helps me to teach classes and feel more natural and approach people and have the language. I think language is huge, right? When you have thoughts and something you're trying to convey, but you're tripping over your words because you know what you want to say, but you can't quite get it out, right? The more you do it, you find your personal language to describe how you actually feel or what it is that you actually want to share. And that comes across with a wonderful confidence in the product that you're sharing. And so I think it's been great.
Awesome. I love that. So you can, if you look in the chat, you'll find the links to that. One of the things that we have created and launched over the last 30 days that you can use along with this challenge is a little thing that we created called Social Wellness Advocate. So, and it's free. You're not going to see our name over any of it. We'll never promote anything to everyone. But basically, what we've created is for 37 days right now, if you go to socialwellnessadvocate.com, you will receive an email with exactly what you should post on social media, right? Exactly, you know, it'll give you the post, it'll give you assets for the stories. It's awesome, right? And the reason why you would use that in collaboration with this is if you're kind of saying to yourself, well, I'm the type of person that likes to work off of social media, then awesome, then do that. Right? Connect with all the people that you know, follow up with all your contacts, friends and family, all of that type of thing. If you're at a place where you're kind of like, well, shoot, I really need to expand my network and I really want to invite a lot of brand new people that I don't even know right now to this whole wellness week. Well, then you might consider doing the Social Wellness Advocate. It's just socialwellnessadvocate.com. If somebody wants to plug that in the chat, they can. But basically, what it's going to do is it's going to teach you how to post on social media, on Instagram or Facebook, what to post, not just product, but brand posts, engagement posts. It'll help you start creating conversations so that you can then invite those people to the Wellness Week, right? So if the goal is inviting new people to the Wellness Week, right? If that is the goal, then you have to ask yourself, okay, we have 2 weeks until August 1st. I need to know who the 5 leaders are that I'm going to be working with. Maybe you're brand new. And so you are going to reach out to your upline and you're going to say, hey, were you on this Zoom with Melina? Are you open to doing, would you, I'll be one of the leaders. Do you want to be one of the leaders, right? Organize that. We have 2 weeks to do that, right? And then decide, okay, you know what? I'm going to give this social media thing a go. And you can register for Social Wellness Advocate. It will start dripping to you every day. It'll show you exactly, what to post. It's super, it's fun, it's engaging. I think I see Carla here just because she's right next to me on the video and took a sip of coffee or whatever. And Carla, maybe you could share, as somebody, you're a super adaptive person. You're always up for a new adventure or trying something new. But I think over the last 30 days, have you been participating with us and kind of playing around with Social Wellness Advocate a little bit?
Yeah, I have. And I was very on it for like the first 7-8 days, and then life got in the way, and we were going on a camping trip, and we got a new puppy, and all these things are happening. But what I love about it is I can go into my email, I can search hello@socialwellnessadvocate.com, and it will pull up all of my prompts, and I just start where I stopped. And it gives me exactly what it is that I can post for that day. So it's easy to get back on track with it. The other thing about it that I found totally like, I've never done reels before. And I was just playing with it one day at a gas station and decided like, okay, let's try this. Let's just see how this goes. And I had 1,500 views in an hour. And it was like, wait, what happened? I had 15 different people start following me. I had no connection to at all. I've had a couple of those people engage in conversations with me since then. It's been a really interesting dynamic to see truly how you can use social media to leverage new connections. And that's the part that I've appreciated about it 100%. So you guys did an awesome job. It's a great thing to be able to use. So I think everybody should be using it.
Awesome. So, I'm so grateful. Thanks for sharing that, Carla. And I want to, I want to keep the eye on the prize, right? The eye on the prize is August 1st, the Wellness Week, right? But we are just kind of giving you some new tools, a little bit of maybe some upgraded skills so that you can take your passion for doTERRA and maybe the feeling that you have of maybe feeling a little stuck or maybe feeling a little stagnant and saying to yourself, okay, cool. Like there is a way for me to really go find my tribe out there in the world and really start to connect with them. So I just want to show you a couple. I don't know if Melina will let me share my screen, and I realize I don't know how many minutes in we are, but a few minutes in, and so we want to keep this short. But I'm going to share my screen, and I'm just going to show you a couple shortcuts that you can use to stay organized, right? So hopefully everyone can see my screen. And so one of the things that I started doing, you guys are all looking at my Instagram right now. One of the things that I started doing was, you can search, and you can search for accounts, you can search for tags, you can search for places, right? And so let's say that I want to find new people. I really want to build a team in Florida, right? And so I'll click on Florida. I'll type in Florida here. This is on Instagram, and it'll type in Miami, Florida, and I can click on recent, right? And I can either scroll through like this, and I can find people who have, have posted stuff in Florida and connect with them. But one of the ways that I really like to expand my network is I was typing in like boy dad, like the things that are common to me, like boy dad. If I go boy dad, okay, it comes up with all of these other men, right, that are also dads, right? Guys that I would want to connect with. And you can follow, you can see here, I can unfollow, I'm already following this hashtag. So one of the things that I would recommend you doing is kind of thinking about all the things that are you, right? The things that you love. Like I know, for example, Kirsten Irish, she's into, farming. And so I might type in farming life, right? If that's what you're into. And I can go to recent, and I can look up and see if I can find, like, here's a picture of a kid. This is this lady who, I don't even know where she lives. She's in, looks like the UK somewhere, right? And she's really into farming. And, you know, if I wanted to follow her, I could send her a message. You know, but this is how exciting and how cool it is to really connect with people. Now I want to show you, let's say, for example, and I'm just gonna let's take, for example, this person. Like, let's say, for example, John, this is a friend of mine, but let's say that this was a prospect. In fact, let me show you a real example. So let's go back to Boy Dad, or let's go back to Boy Dad. And let's say I'm like, you know what? This looks like a super cool family. They're in Arlington, Texas. And I'm like, I want to follow them, but how do I keep track of them? So you can click this little bookmark. You guys see how I click that? So I can click that and it will say save to collection. And I can create a new collection called, let's see, I'll just call it new follows, right? And so then I can go back and I can access those new follows anytime I want. And I'll show you guys how to access them. So you go back to your home screen, you see the 3 hamburger lines up in the top right, the 3 lines. You click on that and you go to saved right in the middle. And now I can see new follows is right there in the bottom left, or excuse me, in the middle on the left. So how I did that, again, if you were just like, whoa, how'd you do that so quick? 3 lines up at the top, go to saved, and then you can see new follows. And I have lots of folders for, you know, all sorts of different things. This same thing works on Facebook. So if you were to go onto Facebook and you find somebody, I can go like this. I can hit the 3 dots. I can hit save post. I can add new collection, and I can put new prospect, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so just kind of creating some organization to some of the connecting that you might do on social media. And I'll just show you, we'll just go to Social Wellness Advocate. And then we can, you know, spin it back and answer any questions. You can just go to Social Wellness Advocate. You just type in your information there, right? And the big thing with Social Wellness Advocate is you see the email address there, hello@socialwellnessadvocate.com. If at any point in time you like start getting the emails, stop getting the emails, just search for that email and you'll get them all. So anyway, point being is I'm super excited for this idea. You know, and how we can leverage this idea to really invite and create a ton of momentum in our teams, right? It's never been more easy to invite people to learn about wellness because it's on their minds. It's like it's in almost every conversation that people are having with people. People are moving out of their homes to other states because of it, right? And so it's already out there. The question is, are you going to make an invitation so that people can learn about it? And the same thing with the business. So Melina, super grateful for you organizing this, and you know, hope everyone can really take advantage of it. We can collaborate and create something really special.
Yeah, and if you guys, thank you so much, Kyle. I told him before this, I was like, you're going to have some people that are like, this all sounds great, but where do I invite people? I will give you a little bit of a disclaimer though. If you're just starting Social Wellness Advocate now, that's probably going to help you invite people towards the end of August. You should still make a list of your warm market and people that it does take time. So especially with online, you have to connect with people for quite a bit of time. You can't expect to plant a seed today and then harvest it tomorrow. So that's something that, like, I love the outline of this. But one of my favorite things about Social Wellness Advocate is that it's easy to hand over to that new person. Like I talked about earlier, people get started and it's like, yes, I like oils, and yes, I like money. So yeah, I want to do this. But then they don't really know where to go, or they don't have 20 hours a week necessarily to focus on it, or they like the oils, but they can't eat, breathe, and sleep doTERRA. So I think that's our biggest resource in our teams, is those people that like the oils and wouldn't mind sharing, totally would if it was an easy thing to do. And so to be able to hand them over something like this, where it's kind of laid out for them, they don't have to do a lot of thinking. because often, like, we have different types of people. Some people want to create their own, they want to do all the things, and other people don't want to try anything unless they know exactly how to do it. And so they'll wait until they know enough before they want to do something. And so this is a really, really easy resource that you can hand over to them, especially as you're enrolling them through this like massive enrollment effort that we're going to do. I think starting, with BOGOs this week and going on through August. I also think this is going to be the perfect bridge. Like if we focus on getting that massive enrollment push in August, it's going to bridge kind of that summer to people are going back to school, they're getting back into routines. I don't know how many of you guys have seen people that were engaged, and then as soon as school got out, it was like, we don't see them the rest of the summer. That happens sometimes, specifically with those very casual sharers where they're busy. And then, school gets back in session. And then if we can kind of re-engage them, they come back on board. Otherwise, we've kind of lost them forever. So this, I think, is a really great place to focus. Now, I did put in the chat, so you'll want to go and look on there. I know I put the link to Christina's folder, but I also put another link to our folder. It is empty right now, so don't go look at it and think that it's empty, but I'm going to put some additional resources in there. And if you guys, I know we have some people that love to create their own graphics. If you're doing any of that, let's have that be a place that we share it with our Crossline, because there are some things that she has that I can't use because there's a typo in there or something misspelled, or it has part of it in Spanish, which wouldn't work. So I'm going to put all the things that that we recreate into that folder. So go ahead and just scroll in the chat and grab that link to both her folder and to the empty folder. In that folder, I'll probably put the social wellness advocate stuff as well, just in case anybody loses that. And that's just something that will help support us in making new connections and inviting. Is there anybody else that has any questions that we wanted to discuss?
Hi.
Hi.
I'm not seeing a link that you're talking about in the chat. I can see Kirschbaum's link, but
Okay.
I'm not
It's up
seeing.
at the very top.
I'm just going to
It's up
repost it. Don't worry about it. We will just, I'll just repost it. So, there was, I posted Christina's, and then it says this one will be our folder. Okay. So I'm just going to repost it. Anything else, you guys? And if you wanted to use this time to kind of chat and connect with anybody, if you're like, hey, this sounds great, I'm a silver, so I don't really have a bunch of other silvers under me to collaborate with. And I don't know, like maybe your upline's not doing it or whatever. Crossline is going to be a really great resource here, you guys. And I can't even express how much, I say it all the time. When I first got started, I don't think I would be here today if it wasn't for a Crossline, because my team wasn't very active, but I had a Crossline that was super consistent with her team. And so we would collaborate and do things together. And it's what kind of kept me afloat until I had enough engagement with my leaders. So there I posted the folder. Okay, anything else? Okay. So I think between the folder resources that we have and all of the social wellness advocate connection, and then just making your list, I'll put the memory jogger in there again. I know everybody has seen it, but I think at any point in time, you could make a list. I've been doing this for 11 years, you guys. I could probably make a list of 100 people. Like you can always make more lists, right? And you can always be contacting people. So I want you to today kind of look at, or today and tomorrow kind of look at who your group of 5 is going to be, and then kind of fill that out on the spreadsheet so that you can start with getting the videos made and inviting people to the group. And with that, I just wish you all a happy BOGO week. Keep following up with all of those people, and have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you next time.